On Osrc News at 7, Ondo State government bans trading on the high-tension cables. Residents express fear over influx of motorcycles operators into Ondo State. Financial experts in Ondo State ascribe escalating forex crisis to dependence on foreign goods. INEC takes safekeeping responsibility from CBN and from the foreign scene. Russia promises to open ports to ease global food supply. Good evening and thank you for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Timileyin Falade. The Ondo State government has banned all trading and related activities on the power lines across the state. The Commissioner for Energy, Mines and Mineral Resources, Mr. Razak Obe, said the decision was taken to secure the lives of residents of the state. Mr. Obe advised residents to comply with government's directive by removing all illegal structures on the electricity cables to avoid being sanctioned. He said government will not allow a repeat of an incident in which 5 children were killed when electricity cables fell on the mother's container in Ile-Oluji, Igbo local government area of Ondo State. The Benin Electricity Distribution Company, in reaction, had stopped the supply of power to Ile-Oluji community until all precautionary measures are taken and illegal structures removed from under electricity cables. In the meantime, the Federal Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, has blamed the current dip in electricity generation on the partial shutdown of urban gas plants. A statement by the ministry spokesperson noted that the plant was shut down to address the repair of critical gas processing equipment. The statement said the incidents occurred at a time other power plants on other gas sources are undergoing maintenance and capacity testing. He said personnel and equipment have been mobilized to site with a view to expediting the restoration of normal gas supply to the affected power plants. Now to electoral matters. The Chairman Subcommittee on Security and Compliance for the All Progressives Congress APC Special Convention for Presidential Primary, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has assured that the party will have a hitch-free election. Governor Akeredolu, while on a visit to Eagle Square, venue of the primary election, in company of the co-chairman of the committee, retired General Abdurrahman Dembazao, to assess the level of preparedness ahead of the primary election, said the party is ready for the election. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Governor Akeredolu stressed that work has commenced on the venue, including ensuring adequate security for delegates. Meanwhile, residents of Ondo State have called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to decentralize collection of voter card to various units or ward level. The concerned citizens made the call on the back of recent figure of about 20 million voter cards across the country and over 200,000 in Ondo State still uncollected heading into 2023 general election. Osrc's Sahid Aribisala reports that the electoral umpire was also tasked to improve awareness for citizens to understand the importance of a voter card and why they should get it.
Statistics by Independent National Electoral Commission in 2019 showed that over 84 million permanent voter cards were printed. Of the figure, over 72 million were collected, while 11 million voter cards were left uncollected. The Southwest had the highest number of uncollected PVCs with over 3.4 million, followed by Northwest with over 1.9 million and the South-South with over 1.7 million. The North Central had about 1.5 million uncollected cards. The Southeast recorded over 1.4 million. The Northeast over 800,000, and the FCT had about 318,000 uncollected voters' cards. Ahead of the 2023 general election, about 20 million voter cards are still uncollected. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Ondo State disclosed that 296,965 permanent voter cards were yet to be collected. To change this narrative and influence more participation in the coming election, some concerned Nigerians called on INEC to decentralize distribution of the voter cards to unit or ward level.
The electoral process is everybody's business. It will be very, very easy for someone inside the interiors, you understand, someone in the villages. Once they know that there's a center that INEC will come to, maybe on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, easily they'll get their voters card easily without any stress, rather than coming back to INEC office at Alagbaka or somewhere that is far from them.
It is the duty of the citizen. It's an obligation on the part of the citizen. Once you are eligible to vote, you understand, to go out there to get your PVC so that you can exercise your civic rights. It is our right and it's our obligation to get the PVC.
The Commission was also enjoined to do more sensitization.
Some of these little hurdles might turn people off in going to get their PVC. So first off, I think they really need to go into sensitization. As little as their officers bringing down a small table and a chair in the markets, in churches.
Educational programs enlightening people and giving them reasons why they should go out there. Should not stop, it should continue.
A visit to INEC's Akure South Local Government Office showed that some residents are still trying to register for the permanent voter card and enjoined the Commission to evolve more seamless strategies. This reporter caught up with Mr. Michael F. Young, who had registered since 2010 but returned in 2022 to pick up his card.
No, it's not that maybe I don't have time. I have time then. But then I have small boy mentality then. It was now that I know that this card is important to me. It was not an easy thing for me to get it. But just because I know how important that it is to me, I have to find all possible best to make sure that I find it out. What next is that I should just go and wait for the time of election, so I can make use of it.
Ahead of the 2023 general election, observers are confident that votes of electorate will count in the emergence of elected officials in the country, hence the need for all eligible Nigerians to participate. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says 988,923 voters captured in the Commission's register will decide who becomes Ekiti State Governor in the June 18 governorship poll. The National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said 734,746 persons have collected the permanent voters card for the election. Speaking at a roundtable forum with media executives in Ekiti State, Okoye assured electorates of the Commission's readiness to conduct a free, fair and credible election. He added that the non-sensitive materials for the elections had been deployed to all the 16 local government areas, noting that ad hoc staff had been mobilized and trained. And still on electoral matters, the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, says sensitive electoral materials will, in the meantime, no longer be routed through the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. He said beginning from the Ekiti State governorship election, INEC will not keep its sensitive materials with the CBN. According to him, this decision is to guarantee that electoral materials for the lined-up elections are not compromised. We'll take a break now. When we return, federal governments to facilitate adoption of traditional and alternative medicine in orthodox medical practice. Do stay with us. Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook Osrc TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Financial experts have described the escalating forex crisis in Nigeria to the total dependence on foreign goods for survival. Omoriola Ngbeji, who sought the opinions of experts on the effects of the current situation on income and the nation's economic stability, reports that respondents were unanimous in how the country can add value to the local currency, the naira.
Currently, Nigeria currency, the naira, is valued to $1 on the CBN exchange of 415 naira is over 606 naira on the parallel market, also known as the black market, compared to what it used to be 5 to 6 decades ago, when naira was stronger than that of foreign currency, thereby making the economy one of the best in the world. Against the backdrop of debilitating domestic and exogenous shocks to the Nigerian economy in recent years, the foreign exchange market has experienced notable challenges. These challenges have included mounting pressure on the exchange rate and foreign exchange reserves against the backdrop of excessive demand for foreign exchange to import products such as petrol, gas, and foreign services like school fees, medical services, among others. A financial expert, Mr. Olaoluwa Bankole, believed that the excessive demand for forex will have a multifaceted impact on Nigeria's economy.
Why is this developed naira continuing to fall? And the reason is very simple, and it has to do with the fact that our economy is not a productive economy in the real sense of it. We are more or less a consuming nation. And what do I mean? For instance, what is the volume of our trade with the United States of America compared with what we import from America? So the implication of this is that once what a country imports exceed what he exports, so it will have a negative effect on the currency of that country.
For the former chairman of ICAN in Ondo State, Mr. Ajibade Oriola, Nigeria, being a consumer nation, relies primarily on imports. So the fluctuation in forex exchange will no doubt result in increased prices of essential commodities and appliances.
When you look at Ukraine-Russia war that is ongoing, don't forget that 70%
our gross. So long as we say we are talking about people are on a payment, they are not earning any income. So the starting point of ensuring that the value of our currency gain strength is to ensure that people are gainfully employed.
If all of us can have a reorientation and change our attitude to life and to every spheres of life, if we can change our attitude and have conscience of rebirth that we want this country to change for the better, it will change. The leaders cannot do it alone. The followers too must, collaborate with the leaders.
What seems clear is that the key challenge to effective forex management remains the pronounced low productivity of the economy, and because of this, the ability to generate enough foreign exchange to meet the high demand for import goods and services is low. And the focus of the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, is reducing Nigeria's demand for foreign exchange as a means of growing the economy. Omoriola Ngbeji, Osrc News.
There are strong indications that Ondo and other states in the southwest could be the next port for commercial motorcyclists, popularly known as Okada, since their operations have been banned in some parts of Lagos State. A drive through Akure, the state capital, even reveals the increasing number of commercial motorcyclists in the nooks and crannies plying their trade with little or no means of identification. In this report, Osrc's Richard Elisami takes a look at the influx of Okada riders to the Sunshine State amid the growing insecurity situation in the country.
In Ondo, as in other states of Nigeria, the use of motorcycles as a means of transportation is now fashionable following the collapse of intracity public transportation system, popularly known as Okada. You find them in towns and cities patronized by the people for the benefit of getting to areas where taxis and buses cannot reach. More recently, their influx into the state with little or no means of identification has raised concerns, especially now that insecurity is giving Nigerians sleepless nights. as a means of transportation, stakeholders argue that its disadvantages can also be seen in the high crime rates committed with recklessness, endangering motorists and other road users. This fear prompted our crew to visit some of their parks in Accra, the state capital, to know how these commercial motorcyclists identify themselves with influx into the state amid security concerns.
Àwọn tó pé wọ́n bójú bo ẹnu yẹn, àwọn tó wọ́n lè identify wọn, kò sí àwọn mìíràn báyìí sì tá machine wò ní number. So ńgbà tí wọ́n bá fi dáràn tán sí, wọ́n máa kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́kadà ló dáràn. Àwọn ló ń gbé àwọn kidnapper, àwọn tó ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn débi pé àwọn yẹn kò mú wọn ibo ló ti rí machine ibo nílùú ẹ.
A few years ago, the state government registered operators in the state, a successful initiative that not only checked Okada-related crimes, but also contributed to government's internally generated revenue.
Park in Nepal, our town park that are normal for àwọn ìlàjò lọ́jà line. Taba ti rí sí line wa tó pé ẹni ò ń ṣe ara wa o. Nítorí àwọn passenger wa àwọn passenger ti dá àwa tá jẹ́ ọlọ́kadà bímọ. Wọ́n ti dá a mọ̀. So kọ́lọ̀ kó ṣàánú wa ni àwọn tó ṣe darapọ̀ ẹ̀ náà àwọn náà mọ́sọ̀dọ̀ ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ ibi. Pé wọ́n já báàgì gbà torí àwọn kan tí àwa ń pàṣù wọn ò lè ṣe.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ tí nǹkan tá a lè fi dá mọ̀ ni pé tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì yẹn mo dẹ̀ rọ ìjọba tó lọ ni pé kó dàyàn síta tó bá tilẹ̀ ń tọ́ mú tí ò ní tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì kò dì mú obomú o bojú kò ń mú ara àwọn tó ń dà lúrú nìyẹn bí mo ṣe wà kó tó mo lò mo ṣe jù mí sílẹ̀ tí má dẹ̀ tún fẹ́ wérò ní tí má ti fẹ́ wérò má tún gbé nǹkan mi borí mo ń lọ tèmi nìyẹn.
Now, with their operations banned in 6 local governments in Lagos State, signs suggest that they may be moving into neighboring states, including Ondo, spurring us to ask the government about their readiness to manage the expected influx. Senior Special Assistant to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu on special duties and strategies, Dr. Donyodebo Ali, said the governor has ordered another round of registration of commercial motorcyclists in the state for proper identification.
We are going to start the registration exercise again. What we are waiting for is the jacket. I want to assure you that, you see, unlike before, when it was so free, when they were just coming from wherever and dump them at Shasha and distribute them, I can assure that is not going to happen this time around. You know, we have Amotekun, we have other security agencies that are going to ensure that this will not happen.
With the urban area expansion, there is no way that motorcyclist activities can be waged away, but the people of the state believe a regulated system will go a long way to checkmate Okada-related crimes and achieve a crime-free Ondo state. Richard Lesami, Osrc News.
A faulty truck that broke down along Nepa Hospital Road in Accra, Ondo State capital, has been causing unnecessary impediment to traffic in the area. The truck, which was under repair as of the time of Osrc's visit to the area, was said to have broken down last night. Residents are calling on the Ondo State Ministry of Transport, Federal Road Safety Corps, and other relevant agencies to ensure the removal of the truck. Now to the foreign scene. The Russia-Ukraine war is affecting commodity prices globally. Analysts say the developing world is most at risk. Odwaya Sawyer reports.
More than 100 days into the war in Ukraine, and the fighting is intensifying in the east. Far from the front lines, the conflict is impacting the global food supply, especially in Africa, which imports 40% of its grain from Russia and Ukraine. the chair of the African Union traveling to Sochi to help get deliveries back on track.
I spoke to the European Council and I told them, yes, there is a war, the crisis, but there's also sanctions. We should work together on resolving these two problems and make sure that everything concerning food and grain supplies is outside the sanctions.
His meeting with President Putin ended with a promise to ease the export of grain from Russian-controlled ports. Putin blaming the West for using Moscow as a scapegoat.
Of course, now we see an attempt to shift responsibility for the global food crisis to Russia. This attempt, as our people like to say, is an attempt to shift from a sick head to a healthy one.
Food prices have shot up across Africa since Russia invaded Ukraine, with fears of famine and the UN warning of mass migration if food does not reach African shores fast.
Russia's played a hunger game recently to put blame on Ukraine and others for blocking Ukrainian food exports. So basically they are saying that the imminent hunger in Africa and elsewhere will become soon because of the Western sanctions on Russia, not because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and blocking of Ukrainian ports.
But despite the pledge, it remains unclear when those ports will be able to release the supplies Africa and the world so desperately needs. Odunayo Sawyer, Osrc News.
And now to sports. The mood of football-filled weekends for many Nigerians has nosedived into boredom following the end of Europe's top leagues, which have huge followership in the country. From midday on weekends and occasionally on midweek evenings, Nigerians cram into halls, makeshift theatres, sport lounges, and every available space to watch football, contributing to a thriving multi-billion naira industry as a result of the love Nigerians have for football. In this report, Abiodun Adewale takes a look at View Centre business as European football takes a break for at least a couple of months.
Are great fans for me, especially of Chelsea fans right now. Majorly, I get above 3,000, 5,000.
Amid the strive to satisfy customers who are sometimes impatient, View Centre owners in the last football season have had to cope with hike in price of items directly involved in their business.
At times, I got a fuel per litre at 500 naira just to make sure people are convenient. So during that time, let me say there's no much profit on it during that time. Because I've also, this was the time whereby the payments also increased. But actually, I've been able to meet up. That's because actually I have another business which I use in managing it, so it's not just one way.
Regardless of the inflation, most customers stay faithful to View Centres, not just because they cannot afford pay TV subscription in their homes, but for the companionship and fun around the long football parlour.
You can't compare the pleasure with when you are watching alone. And there are a lot of incoherent arguments. A lot of people say what they don't even know, research they don't find. So I derive pleasure from that.
That's part of the fun of the football. Because when your team are not performing, even your team, your club your fan that you support the same team together, some will be supporting them the way they are playing, while some will still be against them that I hate this team.
For the owners and customers, the fun and gains would be missing as leagues across Europe are on break till August.
The argument gives me pleasure, so I would miss that. Then my weekend wouldn't go as it used to be. Being back home alone, doing nothing, there is nowhere to go. I don't keep friends, so football is my best friend, it's my company.
I'm also a laundryman. I run laundry. So during that time, definitely I'll focus much on my laundry. And also I have the intention of getting this place better at least. Maybe during this time, get like PS2, PS3, PS4, so that people can at least get this place busy.
Classified under the informal sector of Nigeria, football viewing centers no doubt contribute to the economy of the country. For the time being, that little drop into the ocean will remain dormant, but soon to spring up again. Abiodun Adewale, Osrc News.
And still on sports, top seed Iga Swiatek has won the female single title at Tennis French Open after beating Coco Gauff in straight sets. The 21-year-old Paul won 6-1, 6-3 against the American teenager to record a 35th straight victory. Swiatek, who also won Roland Garros in 2020, took full advantage to win a 6th successive tennis title. The men's singles title will be decided tomorrow between Rafael Nadal and Casper Ruud. Before we go tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. The Ondo State government has prohibited trading on the high-tension cables. Residents of Ondo State have expressed concern over recent influx of motorcycle operators into the state. We brought to you that financial experts have attributed rapid increase of forex to dependence on foreign goods. We also told you that the Independent National Electoral Commission has barred CBN from keeping sensitive materials. And from the foreign scene, Russia is assured of opening its ports to soften food supply. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Good night.